In 3, 2, 1, action. All right. What's up, everyone? Thanks so much for hanging out. Don't laugh at me, Nick. All right. Welcome to another episode of the Courtside Central live
Let's
show.
hold
What?
on. Before we do this, I can't let you go in like that, man. Well, I gotta introduce you. I got you. I just want you guys to know this guy right here. His name is Jay Robles Fofo. He is a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that.
Uh,
And we got Nicklovin here. He's a Hall of Fame brick wall with a dad bod. And you know what? You can't teach that.
Sure can.
And we got Jay Stone in the building too as well. Jay Stone, you're like Times New Roman. You're generic as hell. But you can't teach that. Bada boom. Courtside Central is live in this room. How y'all doing?
Go. Yeah. Hype. I love how I see Stone back there, like, here it comes. Like, he's just waiting, like, knowing something bad's about to.
There's always like a little slight. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, it is what it is.
Because he was kind of looking at the PC, and then you started saying Stone, and he just kind of turned, like, here it comes.
Deep breaths.
He's like everyone else is getting pumped up. I don't know about this one.
You took that like a champ, Stone. You took it like
thick skin after a while. It's really all it is.
That's good.
And we have helped you get that thick skin.
Yeah, for sure.
You're welcome.
It's been this giant culmination of just my entire life. So after a while, it's no pun intended. You just get like stone skin after a while. You just just doesn't even affect you anymore.
Oh, let's start that hashtag.
That's his arcana. There we go.
All right, man, exciting. Thank you, Nom, for the intros. Did we introduce Nom, the cleaner? We didn't get you hyped.
Yeah, so without ugly in the world, there is no beauty. I just want you guys to thank me for my sacrifice. Thank me for my sacrifice.
You're beautiful, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't really feel like I should thank you because then that implies we agree with what you're saying. And
there you go.
All right. Well, again, thanks so much for hanging out on another episode of Courtside Central. This is our live show, so if you're on Twitch, thanks so much for being here. And if you're watching later on YouTube, thanks again for tuning in and watching. So we're talking basketball, as we always do. Well, I guess we kind of talked boxing last week, but, mainly basketball. So we're going to go through some rapid fire news here, and it might be rapid. We'll hopefully more rapid than last week. So here we go. Terrence Clark, Boston native who was preparing for the 2021 NBA draft after playing one season at the University of Kentucky, died Thursday following a car crash in Los Angeles, the university announced. I totally forgot that was the top of the show there. But yeah, that's just sad news, man. Like, I don't even know how else to say that. Now I didn't know. Well, actually, no, I heard of Terrence Clark. Yeah, he's only 19, right?
Yes, he's only 19.
That's so young, and he had his future like ahead of him.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
and I was gonna say, yeah, it's just it's a sad notion, and it's one of those things that you just think to yourself, because we've been around a little bit longer. Note our age. But the kid had a whole future for himself and his family. So
yeah,
I of course, condolences and everything goes out to his family. I hope the NBA will call his name out during the draft, just to commemorate him, and because he was going to be a first round draft pick. I'm just hoping that that's going to be the case. So
that'll be really good on their part if the NBA does that, and I think the NBA is really good at that, at honoring those kind of things, and so I think they will, and I hope they do.
Yeah, me too.
So thoughts and prayers for Clark's family, and yeah, that's tough. Moving on, Chris Paul passes Magic Johnson for 5th place on the NBA's all-time assist list. So the leader, Chris Paul. I feel like Chris Paul comes up on this show every time, every week.
Yeah, we're a bunch of Chris Paul lovers.
Y'all are.
I think we need to post that video where Stone was like, Chris Paul's not going to get up to Magic Johnson until like next year or the year after or something.
He did say that, didn't he?
Did I specify Magic?
Run the tape.
We'll go back and look. We'll go back and look.
I don't know if you. No, I think you did.
I might have.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that I didn't. I'm just curious if I
pretty sure you
specified
did.
Magic or not.
He because Magic was the next in line. I think Robles was saying who was the next in line and how far away, and then I think all of us were like,
you said he wasn't going to get it this season. I think is what you said.
Maybe.
And we were like, no, he has a shot. Like,
we were like 10 assists in like 10 games. He'll be all right.
Yeah. So
it's like he just doesn't shoot anymore. He's just like, let me see if I can get as high as I can with these assist numbers.
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty sure that goes through these players' heads. Like, those records mean a lot to them. So.
I mean, a lot of times they get asked, did it ever cross your mind or anything like that? And most of the time they're just like, no, I wouldn't even think about it.
They're lying. Because then you'll hear them on a podcast or something the week before or the week after, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I was going for that record." It's just like, y'all, just come on. So he joins John Stockton, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and Mark Jackson in the top 5. So congrats to Chris Paul. That is some really good company. So moving on, LaMelo Ball cleared to return to basketball. So LaMelo is on Nick's fantasy team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So did he come back already? Has he been playing limited minutes or?
The cleaner came in and cleaned the free agency.
Wow. How do you feel about that, Nick?
I didn't help him, so.
Oh, okay, that's true. I did knock him.
No, I had an injury reserve spot, so it was all good. I knew I was gonna stash him from Nick, so
there you go.
Yep.
Actually, what really happened was Nick picked up Lonzo Ball thinking it was LaMelo Ball.
I did pick up the wrong ball, brother.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my.
Because he was like, because I think last week he was like, I was like, I picked up LaMelo because they activated him. It's like, no, you didn't. But okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pick him up just to annoy you just for 2 seconds.
And I caught that. Like, I think that next morning I caught that. Just like I was just getting ready for work, and I was like, wait a sec. Wait a sec.
That. Ooh.
And then I looked at it, and you'd already picked him up. I was like,
Yeah, like right when you said that. Right when you said that, I was like, I already knew that you hadn't picked up a LaMelo. I was just like, I don't think you did, but you know what? I got you.
I'll figure this out on your own.
Hey, you're on bye this week, last week, so don't worry about it. You're good.
It's all good. I'm still good.
Well, this is the playoffs, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm still in a really good spot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. He said,
"That's what you keep saying that because you got the garbage man this week, and he did amazing last week. So
I still scored more than him last week.
Did you score more than Kristen?
Yes. I don't know how many. I didn't see her score.
I think she beat you.
She's got Beal and Westbrook.
How many points did she have?
I think it was like 19 something. I think.
Okay, yeah, she beat me.
Okay, yeah.
It was insanely high.
Then I was second highest. It's gonna be between me and Kristen.
It really is. Like I'm playing her this week, and I'm like, well, it's fun though. Stone and Nam are in the losers bracket, so we'll see how they.
Yeah,
how
they go. I'm putting an asterisk. I'm putting an asterisk in this season. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here we go, Shaq.
All right, moving on. Kobe and Nike break up. Stone, you're the one that filled us in on this news. I think at the end of last episode.
Yeah, so it popped up on ESPN like right as we ended last show, and basically, I guess the Kobe Bryant estate, his wife, grew frustrated a little at the fact that Nike, since Kobe's retirement and his passing, wasn't, I guess, pushing out a lot of Kobe products anymore. And I think, if I remember right, his contract expired on the 13th of April. So they opted to not go in and extend, his contract or sign a new one or anything like that. They just sort of were like, all right, I guess we're done with Nike. That being said, I understand it. One of the faces of the NBA, and you just, for whatever reason, decide you're going to stop pushing, his products out there. It just, that seems like a ridiculous move to make. And I know we talked about it at the end of the show last time, and I feel like that's opportunity missed. Again, face of the NBA. Some people argue one of the top 5 players to ever play the game, and you're not pushing his stuff. Not just, after his death, but even after he retired, you're not pushing his stuff. Like, people would go out of their way to buy Kobe products. So I don't honestly know what Nike was thinking. I haven't seen anything since this came up last week, so maybe something has come out. Maybe Nike's made a statement or whatever, but I just think that's kind of crazy to me.
So my question, this was a Nike thing? It wasn't the Kobe estate, his wife saying we just don't want to do it. It was kind of Nike, like, well, we're not going to.
Well, so the reason, the way I understand it, the reason they said they didn't want to do the extension is because Nike's lack of pushing Kobe's products and stuff out there. Like, since his retirement and his death, it's like they sort of pulled back on pushing any of his products out. So rather than go with an extension or anything like that, they were just kind of like, all right, we're good.
Yeah. Okay. That is a missed opportunity on Nike's part.
Yeah.
But I mean, good for the Kobe Bryant family. It's like, look, because that's kind of a way of honoring him. Like, hey, we're still going to push his stuff out, and remember him this way. So if they're not doing that, then
right,
why am I going to help y'all get more money off his products? Like, no.
Yeah, it seems like a silly move from Nike, especially for as long as they've been, partners.
Yeah.
I'm curious as how that thought process went in, but it is what it is. So now, that gives another company, license to be like, hey, we'll work something out with you guys.
Oh, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they're already in talks.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. The Chesapeake Energy terminates naming rights deal with the Thunder. So the name of the arena will remain until a new partner is found. So Chesapeake Energy will be no longer. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, they've been partners for a while, but from what I hear, Chesapeake Energy kind of wavering on their business, and they didn't get the logo on the jerseys for the Thunder, so I'm not all that surprised that they're.
Because Loves did, right?
Mm-hmm.
Loves did, yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked to see Loves or Sonic or somebody jump in and take the.
Devin Energy.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, I saw this, and a lot of people were commenting on like other names you could call the arena. And I'm just,
oh really?
Oh yeah, sure. As soon as it was announced that it wasn't going to be called the Chesapeake Energy Arena anymore, a lot of people were like, well, name it this. I saw someone, they were like, just literally call it the Peak, and I was like, well, okay, I get it.
Because we always been calling it the Peak.
Yeah, it's literally been called the Peak forever. So who knows? We'll see what happens when someone gets it, I guess.
We'll see what happens. I mean, that's the name of the arena. They're like, do other NBA jerseys have the? I guess the Energy Company is what they. I don't know. That's kind of weird to me. All right, moving on. Sorry. The name of the. Oh, I already said that. Report: Rockets Kevin Porter Jr. He pulled a James Harden, broke safety protocols with strip club visit.
Is it weird that I thought that exact same thing?
Why can't this guy stay out the strip club, man?
What is going on in Houston?
Like, you're off season, you have time to go live it up.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry. Go. Someone else take it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Houston's in last place, so I mean, there's nothing better to do, right?
Okay, that's true.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you're gonna show your team, you're at the point where you just don't give a crap anymore. And
they're kind of lost, so they're like, well, Harden, we did this with Harden, so that's just what we do.
Yeah, it's the culture. That's why Westbrook left.
Yeah.
But it was actually interesting. This story, Kevin Porter Jr. He's been doing really well for the Rockets. But I think he actually stepped in to help out one of the teammates that were there and kind of got hit or something like that. I think he went out of his way to help out Malcolm Brown, I think his name is. That was playing for that's also playing, or Brown or something like that. That was playing for Houston too as well. So
helped him in a strip club, like
yeah,
like as far as money or like I think what was he doing? How did he?
No, I think there was some sort of
altercation,
and he stepped in and he got hit.
Okay.
He stepped in to protect his teammate. So there you go. If you're gonna get suspended for being in a strip club, that's the way to do it, right? At least
right.
That's a good story to have, Like, hey, yeah, I was there, but I also took a punch to the face to help my teammate. So it's more than James Harden can say.
That's true.
What's his excuse? Yeah. What did he say? My bad.
All right. So that's our rapid news. That was actually a lot quicker than last week. So kudos to us. So moving on, the Basketball Jones. So this is our injury update. Do y'all have the list in front of you guys, or do some of y'all not right now?
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nick does. What about Stone and Nam?
Yeah, I got it here.
All right, cool. I'm gonna read one, and then we'll take turns here, so we can all.
It's like school all over again.
Yeah, so the people can hear all your lovely voices and not just mine. All right, I'll start it off here.
Job.
Thank you, but I gotta take a Gatorade break. All right, starting off with Trae Young. This is a big one. Trae Young helped off court after rolling left ankle. Coach Nate McMillan said that following the game, the X-rays on Young's ankles were negative. So Trae Young, man, that's a big blow to the Hawks. Because how are they doing as far as standing wise? They're in fifth place right now. Okay, so they're good. Yeah. So I don't know how long it's going to take them to get back and going, but the playoffs are coming up. So
that's only like the 6th or 7th player on my fantasy league that's been injured. But hey,
you had Trae Young.
Keeping positive, guys.
Yeah, I know.
Asterisk, asterisk.
Collins
it's an asterisk.
Collins has gotten some big minutes, and then I picked up. I don't know how to say his name, but he's a shooter. Herder, yeah.
You mean the white guy?
The white guy? That guy.
You said shooter. We just assumed he was white, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, next, you can take it away, Stone, to the Wizards. What's going on with them?
Not sure to pronounce his name.
Just try.
Denny Avdija? Does that sound right? Anyway, the Wizards rookie wheeled off the court with a right ankle injury. The number 9 pick landed awkwardly after missing a layup in the second quarter against the Warriors. And what is it with these ankle injuries?
Yeah.
And look, I'm sorry, this is a little off track, but after what happened to Weidman over the weekend, these guys, they can shake it off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like all day today, I've just been like picturing that in my head, and I remember me and my brother were talking about it. We're like, you know what? After witnessing his leg like bend around the guy, I was like, okay, that sucked. Like that, damn. But then it's the slow motion shot of his leg coming back, and then him putting pressure on it.
Yeah.
And it just bending not the way a leg is supposed to bend. You're just like it almost gets you. But yeah, it
got me.
All these.
I remember I was playing Warzone with Nick, and I couldn't even like speak. I was like, and he's like, "What's happening? What's going on?" Like I couldn't even like comprehend. Like it was so.
Yeah,
like,
the old man is having a heart attack.
It was. I think my reaction, like at home on my couch, was like the exact same reaction of everybody else's that was in the arena.
Yeah.
Like
man.
as soon as you saw it, you were just like, oh, and then it, his leg does that whole thing again, and you're just like, oh my god, yeah, it was brutal. But I don't know what it is with ankles and legs this past week, but my god,
Right.
It's crazy.
It's
All
nuts.
Right, moving on. Let's go to Nam. You can take the next one.
Porzingis was that? Or no, that was Harden.
Yeah,
Harden. All right. Yeah. So James Harden has suffered a setback and is out indefinitely for the Brooklyn Nets. This is a big blow for them right now. I mean, as long as they still got 2 out of the 3 superstars, they'll still be fine as far as making it pretty far into the playoffs. But I think they're going to be a little bit more precautious now with this being the setback. But I'd imagine he'll still be ready for the playoffs whenever they get there.
Yeah,
I mean,
I hope so because I want to see them all together and just see how they play.
I would love to see that team at 100%, but I'm starting to get the feeling. I don't know if we're ever going to see that. KD's injury prone. And dude, I don't know what's been going on with him lately, but it just, injuries. Harden's out for the rest of the season. It's just kind of like, we ever going to see it actually flow together? So, I don't know.
Now that just said season, though, he could be in for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe not the first round, but I don't know.
Yeah. I felt pretty positive he'll be back. So
okay, well, that's
so
good news.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I just take like when they say out for the season, like I assume they mean the remainder of the NBA season.
Yeah. When they just say indefinitely, they just don't have a timetable. Really, it's going to be a while. It just depends on the healing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always just took indefinitely like, okay, don't expect
forever.
To see. Yeah, don't expect to see him playing anytime for the rest of the season or whatever. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just always how and it may just be who I am as a person, where it's just like they're out indefinitely. I'm like, all right, well, that's it. We're done.
Yeah, we're done.
Never mind.
Retire. All right, Nick, you can take the last one here.
All right, Porzingis exits Lakers Mavericks with left ankle sprain. Dallas's talented big man suffered another setback during Thursday's game against the Lakers. This dude,
I'm not drafting him next
year. Sucks. Don's gonna draft him second, third round.
I'm staying away from Westbrook. Will be my first draft pick. That'll be it.
It'll be like everyone's passing him up in the 6th round. Would you pick him up then?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
Luka's like, come on, like
these injuries this week, man, it's nuts. Just
I'm telling you,
to stop skipping leg day. You know what I mean?
So I think,
get them legs strong, fellas.
So do you think the teams, with these injuries, especially with these players that we just named off, Spurs are being hit with those $25,000 fines for resting. Do you think it's worth it for the teams just to pay the rest or to let them play?
That's why they're doing it. Well, that's why the Spurs do it.
And honestly, I think this year is a year where league management, or where they're doing time management, like the entire league is doing time management with it, because I think a lot of these injuries you wouldn't see as far as like the condensed schedule, but I think a lot of these injuries, I think a lot of the players would have played through some of these injuries, but with the short season, the playoffs coming up, and with even shorter season when it gets to the playoffs,
still having back-to-back games.
I'm starting to wonder when teams are going to just start being like, look, either get rid of these back-to-backs and we'll stop resting our guys as often as we do, or keep having them play this many games and we're going to keep resting them. We'll just pay it out, because something's got to give, obviously. Like, it's got to be one or the other, to demand that kind of grind out of players, and like, obviously, how many, that was what, five injuries, all like leg area, foot area. Like, I mean, after a while, like if I'm a coach or if I'm an owner, like, I'm like, no, we'll pay out whatever. Like, y'all need to give your bodies a chance to rest or whatever. This going, 110 for, 3 weeks has got to stop. So who knows? Maybe this is a turning point sometime.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right. Moving on to the next segment. I'm excited about this one. Foul or let them play. And so, we got a BG Rising's kid in the chat. What's up? What's up, Justine? Hope you're doing well. So foul or let them play. I'm excited for this one. So the first one, or do you want to talk how this is going to work, Nam?
Yeah, we're gonna watch these clips and we're just gonna call. We're basically referees. We're either gonna call a foul or we're just gonna let it go.
All right.
And we'll see where we go from this. So no special cues on the actual thing, but the first video is going to be about Kevin Durant, Stone's favorite player.
All right, let's hear it.
I don't know if that audio is going through.
I'm fine with it. I'm hearing it, but it's kind of soft.
Yeah, I'm not hearing anything.
Are y'all watching his...
Yeah, I'm on the Twitch right now.
No, not Twitch. It's not coming on
stream.
Twitch.
Yeah, I see the little clip. I see it now. All right, gotcha.
Sorry, I was hearing it in the Discord.
Yeah.
Hearing the echo is great.
Damn.
He said, I ain't even gonna...
His game's like mine.
Yeah, the audio's not coming out on stream.
Yeah, that's why I was watching the stream, making sure that audio was coming through. It's not just our voices.
Do you know why?
Yeah, I can fix it. I just gotta switch things out. So one thing we can do is when the video's going, just save the commentary till after, because I'm gonna have to switch audio outputs. So one will have to, when the video's going, it'll be from my desktop. When we come back, it'll be from into my headset. So easy switch. Cool. Just anywho, foul or not, Kevin Durant.
Flagrant foul, man. All the way. It's like, how are you going to forget your teammate that you played with for 8 years? I mean, 8 years. Like you played with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson for like what, 3? And you I mean, I get Colin Harden and Irving out because they're your current teammates. He better, right?
Well, it took him a while. He was going from like, okay, right now I'm playing with the Nets, and then he brought in the Warriors. But to bring Serge, come on, man.
Like that's when you know that when he thought the Thunder, it was his team and nobody else's. So, but flagrant foul for me, man. That was horrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna say foul as well. I mean, he's obviously trying to cover himself, because he's already gotten some bad publicity lately. And so when they asked him about Westbrook, he was like, "Oh crap, I gotta put him in there." Well, let's just switch this around. But can I say what the pictures I sent to you guys the other day with his all-time team?
Oh yeah, go for it.
So Kevin Durant and Nick Wright put together an all-time roster. KD's all-time roster, which is a good roster, but the only person on his top 5 teammates who was on there was Steph Curry. No one else. So not Kyrie, who he said number 1. James Harden was number 2. But yet they're not on his all-time roster. Just Steph Curry.
Okay, so you know what, Robles? I'm going to let you go because I know I'm going to have to be the one that plays devil's advocate here. So.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
No, we know who you
Okay.
are. We
All
know
right.
you
So
love
here's
it.
the thing. All right. One, a lot of people suspect that part of his decision to leave OKC was because of Russ. Now, I'm not, obviously there's no way to know if that's true or not. You know, who knows? If it is true that Russ was part of the reason he decided to leave, it would make sense to me that he wouldn't consider Russ, you know, a top player, you know, because if there's a grudge there or something, like, you wouldn't just throw him on that list. Now, with them saying, wow, you know, I figured you'd throw Russ on there, and he was like, oh yeah, my bad, you know, that makes sense, Russ too. Like, I'm not saying that there was Russ was the reason, but it was rumored to be Russ was part of the reason, so, you know, there's a lot to it. And then to your list, Nick, it sounds like they were doing an all-time list, right?
Yeah, his all-time
right
list,
so
and he
let me just quick, since it's an all-time list, is Russ on your all-time list?
no.
Well, I don't think he's talking about Russ though. But I mean, at the very least, Kyrie or James Harden, right?
In your all-time list, is anybody
you're singling down to Westbrook?
Hold
no
on.
one was talking about Westbrook.
On
the
your
only reason why we
all-time-
bring up Westbrook is because
On your
he
all-time list-
backtracks when he gets called out.
That's
on
fine. I mean, come on.
I'm not saying there was beef between him and Westbrook.
No, but I'm just saying that
there was.
that's potentially the reason he didn't use Russ at the beginning.
So my point is on KD. The reason why I'm calling it a foul is own up to it. Say I made that list.
Come on. You already know KD's not just gonna come out and be like, yeah, you know what? Screw that guy. It is what it is. Like,
yeah,
come on. He's gonna take it back and be like, you know what? My bad. But as far as his all-time list, like, I'm not surprised that none of his recent teammates outside of Steph Curry would be on that list, because of an all-time list, we're talking like everybody.
No, I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. I mean, I would put Steph Curry above them, but then why is Steph Curry your worst teammate? Then he should be your number one teammate, because that's the best player that you've played with.
I think Steph Curry. He
couldn't go back to Steph Curry. That's why.
This is just me fucking around. But like, part of me is like, the reason that Steph Curry is like worst or whatever is because even in Golden State, Steph Curry was still the one that was like, it was his team. It was his glory. It was whatever. KD, though good, really only got credit in the finals. It had his game was great in the regular season. Obviously, they needed him to get there, but like, it's still Steph Curry. You don't think Golden State and think Kevin Durant. You think Golden State, you think Steph Curry. So, you know, it.
Maybe he was thinking, look, top like player, Steph is up there, but maybe Steph was a sucky teammate, and so he was like, nah. You're number 3.
Right, holding them
but
little
you're still
grudges.
the best player.
Wait, he put the guy that went to strip clubs in front of Steph Curry, who's probably been one of the best team players. You know,
I don't know. I'm trying to get in Katie's mind here. It's not a good place. I'm gonna get out. I'm out.
Did J-Rob and Jay Stone just switch sides?
Abort.
Because I mean, if you think about it though, like Steph Curry and Westbrook are family guys. Like, they're family people. You know, they both have wife, kids, and all that other stuff too as well. Irving and Harden are all single, and so is Clay. They're all single dudes who, you know, probably enjoy the strip club. So there you go. It's just like he put the family guys back behind. You know, they're just not the people he hangs out with.
There you go.
Not his type of people.
All right. So what did you say, Stone? Was it a foul or let them play?
Nah, let him play. It is what it is.
Okay. All right, moving on.
He got called out, and then he was like, it's like Nick said, he was like, my bad, guys. It's like, come on, Katie, just stick to your
the one
guns,
guy
bro.
was like, I thought you were about, he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm not even going to say who.
Yeah.
He's like,
I feel like that would have been me. It's just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Just
that was great.
The whole track skips.
All right.
Like, hold on.
We'll move on to the next one. Fowler, let him play. So this is a little on the inside the NBA. So roll the clip.
Yeah, that's.
There's a lot of switching to do.
Shut up, video man. Just do the videos, all right?
That 4 spot in the East, who's chasing the Knicks? Why, Shaq? Because they're back.
All of them, shout out to my man, Worldwide West.
Julius Randle. PJ Washington had himself a pretty big game.
Oh,
21 points in the first half.
show that.
Bang, bang.
A nice stroke, man.
5 for 5 from 3 in the quarter for PJ Washington.
Okay.
Nice finish there from Emmanuel quickly. I understand why New York is excited about this rookie.
Wow.
He had 17 in the quarter. And Terry Rozier
Right back at you.
had 18 in the first half.
Get that, T-Row.
So here's the deal. If you haven't watched Knicks games this year, they kind of let you do stuff in the first half, and then they completely shut you down. The Hornets had 66 points in the first half, 31 in the second half, and the Knicks keep on cruising. RJ Barrett with the 3.
That's that Tibbs halftime talk.
Right. How about this? RJ Barrett had 3 in the first half and 21 in the second half.
That's what it is.
He'll wake you up, huh?
Listen, he talk about practice the next day. You better wake up.
I like how they give Julius Randle space to operate by himself on the court.
16 and 10 for Julius Randle. And then
D
D-Rose.
Rose, do it to him with the head.
Oh,
Off the
okay,
wrong
D-Rose.
leg. Okay, D Rose.
Knicks have won their 7th straight longest winning streak for the Knicks since March 2014.
Oh, you like that, don't you?
And that streak was 8. So history is right around the corner, Shaquille. Hornets held below 100 points for the 3rd time in their last 5 games. Are you ready to say it feels like the Knicks are back? I don't know why you're laughing. Let's take a look at the standings. They're a half a game back of Atlanta.
If they get the 4th seed, I'll say the Knicks are back.
Wow. Okay, that's what it'll take.
If they get home court advantage in the first round, I'll say the Knicks are back.
Wow. Okay, that's big.
They have been playing well. Tibbs does have them playing at a high level, and Julius Randle balling.
3rd best defensive rating in the league.
While
for
Candace
the
over
New
there
York
making
Knicks.
faces.
I'm just like,
Candace, they were terrible last year.
so
to
I'm
come
saying,
back-
why do they have to be 4th? Why can't you say it?
No. They got to get home court advantage. Stop it.
They have to
be
get
back.
home court advantage
back. To be back like he's celebrating, like my boy Al Palagoni and
Just
Spike Lee be
saying,
celebrating.
they've been
Yeah.
terrible.
Back.
Give them some props.
They're good, but they're not back. If they get to the 4th spot in the first
What's
round
back,
after
though?
all they've
That's what
been
I'm saying.
through,
What's the definition
This
of
is
back?
what I'm saying by back
Eastern
is that they are a
Conference Final?
Home court advantage in
defensive-minded
the first
team
round.
that allows nobody to come in their place and push them around. And when I think of Knicks basketball in your era,
we think they're.
he's the
Talk to
one.
him. Yeah, talk to him.
I'm saying,
Like,
We're
I'm
on the
saying you don't
bandwagon.
get the back title until you get the first round of playoffs.
Okay.
You have a good, talented team. You're supposed to be.
So you can look in that camera and tell New York's Knicks Nation.
You're supposed to be 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th with that talent. But to impress me, you have to get home.
with
court
their
advantage
talent, you said
in
they're
the
supposed to
first
be
round.
5th.
They're supposed to be in the
Their
playoffs.
team is supposed to be 5th with their
No,
talent.
5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, easily. But I'm saying the way they plan, if they step up to the 4th, now I'll be like, okay, the Knicks are back. The Knicks are good. I'm saying the Knicks are good, but if
I'm
they
just
get
saying,
that
they're
home
ahead
court
of
advantage in the first
Boston,
round,
They're ahead of Miami. Like, give them credit. Give Tibbs credit.
I'm giving them credit. But if you want me to say they're back, I'm giving them credit.
With your chest.
They're good. If you want me to say they're back, to me, they got to get that first round home court.
Okay, well, I just needed the definition of their back because honestly, I think this is a great resume for going into offseason trying to get a free agent because that's what they need. They need one free agent to sign with them, and then they'll be back.
He gave you the definition of what back was. You can't come in our place and push this around. Home court advantage in the first round. Back.
So is it just playing hard like Memphis? Like if you just play
I
hard?
said home court advantage
Like
in
the
the
old
first
school
round.
Memphis is like that they're back because they play
Home
hard and
court
don't get
advantage in
pushed
the
around?
first round. Al Palagonia.
I'm enjoying D. Wade's drinking stance right now.
What
just
you think?
watching you guys.
They're
argue.
back?
That's because he's so used to me and Shaq going at each other in the back.
They're back? Are they back?
Me and Adam on the show now.
Oh yeah, we
okay.
back.
Are we back? Are we back? Because it went 1-3,
We went.
1-3, 3-3, 1-3. I don't know.
Oh, that's so good. Just a little bit of context of the incredible job that Thibodeau has done.
Yeah, we can stop there.
Oh man, so much to unpack there. But so is this like a foul on Shaq for what he's saying?
Heck no, I agree with Shaq.
I'm calling.
Strong opinion.
So I'll
Okay,
start
start
this
it
off.
off.
I'm gonna call a foul on both Candace and Shaq on this one here. So first off, Shaq, you better up your expectations. You talking about the Knicks being back at the 4th seed? just because they have to get past the first round if we want to talk about if they're back. Like when I'm hearing we're quote unquote back, I'm thinking like 90s Knicks who are like in the Eastern Conference Finals like every year. So you know what, Shaq is like, I give you partial credit, but I'm still gonna give you a foul. Like Candace Parker. Come on, man. We can't cupcake these guys around, man. They're doing good this year. We're going to give them credit for doing good, but they're not quote unquote back. And you can't just say that, there's no participation awards here. They got to earn their stripes. You got to be tough on these guys. They've sucked for so long, right? You can't just throw them down. But that's just my opinion.
Okay. All right, Stone, let's hear you.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as like, I mean, I kind of agree with Nam. When people use the term "they're back," like you need kind of an evidential type thing where it's like you can see that they're back. Yeah, they've been having a great season, but to say that they're back when season ain't over with, and you have I don't know what like expectations there were set on the Knicks, but I agree with Shaq. It's like you can't say a team is back and that we ain't in the playoffs yet. Home, if you can get home court, like perfect example would be for lack of a better term, Oklahoma City. Let's say Oklahoma City drafted real well, got some really decent players, and they looked like a really good team. I can guarantee you there are Oklahoma City fans that would be like, yeah, we're back, finally. The regular season ain't even over. Yeah, we're back. And I will be the Shaq of that whole freaking fan base and be like, whoa, what do you mean we're back? How about we get to, I would honestly say Western Conference Finals before we can say we're back. Like, that's the standard. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it means. Like, if we get to the first round of the playoffs and get bumped, okay, yeah, we're back at getting to the first round of the playoffs and getting bumped again. Like, that's not, we're back. To me, that's not what it is. So I'm with Shaq on this. Like, show us, get there. And if you get there, then you're back. If not, then,
If you get where?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. And I think that's where I agree with Nam is I think Shaq's expectation is a lot lower because it's like, if they're back, they got to do more than just the fourth round or whatever. Well, I mean, Nam's what were we saying? Nam like
They have to get past the first round, right?
Right. So yeah. So the bar isn't like ridiculous. We're not saying like title or bust, but like you got to have a standard there. To just say they're back based on play doesn't work. You know what I'm saying?
2012, 2013. So, I mean, they're back in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's not every team can get back.
Like y'all are saying, they've been back for so long.
I don't know.
They've been in the playoffs in years. Here they are, and here's to Shaq. They are 4th seed right now. So there's that. So I don't know.
But I mean, like, all right. So like
you're saying.
Yeah, if you say the Bulls are back, you're like, did they win a championship?
Right. Like
I will say this, that I don't think anyone's denying that they've definitely exceeded expectations this season. I mean, that's not, I don't think the argument. I think the argument is, are they back to the Knicks? I think their run back in the 90s, their defense, their play style, and I agree that when you can say you're back, win some playoffs, win some rounds, win the first round, go into the second round. I'll say they're back then. But I'm going to say foul on both of them because Wade was just sitting over there by himself. They just excluded him out of the conversation.
I don't think they excluded him. I think Dwayne Wade was that. He was that player where when his teammate gets in a fight, he's not going out there to run on the court. He's just staying back on the
Yeah, he's just going to sit back.
I'll tell you what, I think he dodged Candace Parker because he was just like, you know what? You keep talking to those two over there. Don't worry about me.
I don't know if Dwayne Wade had much to say on that conversation because they asked him again at the end and then he kind of like just brushed it off.
Yeah,
like, let's go to commercial. So it's like,
so
I call foul on Dwayne Wade.
There you go.
I agree with you. I take my fouls back. I call foul on Dwayne Wade.
I will say, for the most part, I love Candace Parker though being on that show because I feel like she has basketball IQ, and I love it when her and Shaq go at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to go foul as well. I think Parker made a good point though. It's like if they can score a free agent in the summer, that's going to be a big win right there. If they can get a big name back in New York, like I think that's a win right just in itself.
Yeah.
But we'll
they're
have to wait
definitely
and see.
trending. They're trending up. I mean,
Yeah.
definitely.
I mean, Thibodeau. I mean, some people can't handle it, but it feels like that core, like they're working. And I think if you follow Thibodeau and you're working that hard, like you're gonna succeed to some extent. We'll see what happens in the playoffs,
Yeah.
but
And kudos to Julius Randle too, man.
He's balling.
He's definitely got the most improved player and somebody that was drafted so high for the Pelicans and everyone labeled as a bust. And to be the third person to be chosen from the Knicks because they were going after Kevin Durant and Kawhi Leonard and everybody. He was just kind of like the consolation prize.
Mm-hmm.
So
and in the East too, like what Parker said, like above the Celtics, above the Heat, like they're doing good. And he kind of shut me up because I know in the All-Star pick episode, I was like, why is Julius Randle on this All-Star? But I mean, he just keeps proving game after game why he was there. So he's good. So I'm excited that the Knicks they're going to be in the playoffs this year. We'll see what they do. So moving on, the next fouler, let them play. Russell Westbrook becomes a meme. Roll that footage now. Do it. Is that the right one, Stone? Or cool? You're muted, but I think it is.
Yeah, it's the right one. It's just now for whatever reason, like my switching is now screwed. We're just gonna play it anyway.
all right, so I call a foul on Stone for saying that Westbrook's not clutch. So take that.
Okay, man.
I'm done.
Okay.
He said, "I'm done." I don't. So I'm kind of confused on this one. Like, did this become a meme?
Yeah, so that part where he did the little that face that you did too.
Oh, with the eyes.
Yeah, apparently that became a meme. I didn't really know that, but I just wanted to have them play the whole fact that Russ was probably the most clutch person this year in the last 5 minutes of the game. So
all right,
great.
Well,
what happened to all the other years?
Actually, he was pretty clutch. I always thought he was pretty clutch all the way through. So man,
I mean, look, he had some great shots, sure, but I mean, obviously, you know, he wasn't leading the NBA. Let's put it that way.
No, you'd be surprised Dame Dollar isn't leading this one, but
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Listen,
congrats to Russ. Like, you know,
okay.
great
like
stat.
How y'all were saying like, oh, they're back. Okay, hit a clutch shot in the playoffs, and then we'll talk. Is that fair?
if he gets that clutch shot, yeah.
Yeah, if he hits it.
I'm trying to even remember a time that like
they never
in the
really
playoff. Yeah, in the playoffs. I
really
can't think of a time that I remember Russ shooting in.
Wasn't there like situations in the playoffs where Durant won it the last shot and Russ would take it, and not?
No, it was more. We were always not in a situation where it was like a last minute shot, a last second shot. Like we don't get those very often.
Gotcha.
There were
like we'd fall apart in the fourth quarter or the third quarter, and we'd give a lot of leads away. From what I remember KD hitting one shot
against
and
Dallas.
And that was the only shot that we had that was actually a game winner.
Like there was a lot of trade shots like in closing minutes, because I can still remember that one series against the Spurs where like OKC would hit a 3 and then the Spurs would answer right back, and I know what felt like an eternity, and it was probably like the last 2, I'd say maybe 3 minutes of the game, and you're just like, every single time OKC hit a shot, you're like, and then San Antonio would just, like, the arena would get loud, and then San Antonio would hit a response shot, and like the arena would just zip it, like, you know. So I remember that, but as far as like clutch game-winning shots in the playoffs or anything like that, there may have been some, but the only one I can remember off the top of my head is that one KD hit in Dallas.
I was gonna say, I don't think we put ourselves in that situation.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay, so did y'all say foul or let him play on that?
No, honestly, let him play.
Yeah, let him play.
Happy for us to get that, to have that accolade currently. Just, it's funny just that he became a meme because of it.
Well, yeah, it was that, wasn't it the where he's like, what? Like, I remember that meme. Like, huh?
And you know what, Russ is being Russ. Like, he hasn't changed. He would say the exact same thing as if somebody was criticizing him in that same spot. So good for him.
Right.
All right, moving on to the last foul or let them play. Shaq Paul Pierce. Let's see what Shaq has to say here.
Oh boy.
You know, focus on Paul Pierce. We all focus on Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Ray.
Let him play.
That's all he could do was laugh.
I love the fact that he actually acknowledged it by laughing.
Yeah.
We're
gonna talk
about
Paul Pierce. Oh my god.
I totally forgot about that, so that is hilarious.
We're gonna talk about Paul Pierce. That's fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
You got me up here talking about Paul Pierce.
So absolutely let him play.
Yeah.
100%. No fouls.
All right, so that was our segment, foul or let them play. We'll be moving on to our next one, and this is Nicklovin's World. I wish we had like a little theme song for this.
Dude, there's so many things. I may have to get
it would be everybody love the Love Me Sexy.
Oh Lord.
That's what it would be.
Yeah, we'll think about that.
I'm gonna hit you with a
Semi-Pro. It's the best basketball song there is.
I'm gonna hit you with the Bobby's World theme song.
No.
I don't remember if you remember that cartoon.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Nope.
I may have to get this stream deck working again.
Nicklovin's World. I get to pick my song.
All right, Nicklovin, what's going on in your world, bud? Talk to us.
Well, the Spurs win knocks out. I forgot who they were playing. When was I can't remember the day, but their win knocked out the Timberwolves in Houston from playoff contention. It sucks to be a Rockets fan these days.
Man, the Rockets. I feel bad for that.
Dude, the thing is, too, the Rockets I think they have the talent to be good. It's just, even with all their moves, but they're going to be scary in the next couple of years. But this year, we knocked them out. I'm just going to put that out there. We knocked them out.
You think they're going to be... we'll have to see.
They've got a lot of draft picks.
They've got
Christian Wood. And
Christian Wood, I like. I don't
John,
like. Yeah,
you
I
don't
don't
like
like
Wall?
that. No. Nope.
I was gonna say they got Christian Wood, Kevin Porter Jr., who was suspended for the But they're gonna play the long game like they're gonna play that long game like we were talking about with Boston before. You know, it's gonna be a super long game.
Boston. And is that what they've been doing? Long game?
Yeah, at least that's what Shadow would say. So we're just,
they better step it up before either Brown or Tatum decides to leave, because then I don't know how much longer they have on their contracts, but I feel like this is the time they need to. I don't know.
Oh, and they got Tate. That's what I was trying to look. Jashawn Tate, who's also, I think, in the top 3 in the rookie ladder. So,
Oh, nice.
they got a young crew. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, thank you for letting us in your world, Nicklovin.
Yeah, you should have told us that the Spurs were playing the '96 Bulls, and that's the reason why the Minnesota and Houston were knocked out of the playoffs, man. This is your world. We only exist in it.
Nick, close us out in your world. The Spurs went into overtime tonight. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct. They went into overtime.
How did that game finish?
It finished with a win.
Let's go.
Yep, it was great. 146 to 143. It was close throughout the whole game, but the Spurs have been doing great ever since the Aldridge trade. And I'm nothing against Aldridge, but it seems to have helped the team actually, even though they didn't get anything for him. But I think the Spurs have class, but it just seems they got some energy now. So.
Yep. All right. Well, we'll go and talk about this last thing here. The barbershop talk. I like this one. So I'm sure we'll have opinions on this. So our questions, what we're going to be talking about is the play-in tournament. So I know Mark Cuban, he's made some comments. I know even Luka from the Mavericks has made some comments, and people called him out for making that comment too, which I thought was pretty funny. So just some questions. Is the play-in tournament, is it good? Because that's kind of what Mark Cuban and Luka were saying. It's like, why do we play all these games in the season? And then, we deserve that spot, which, that's how it used to be. So I can understand that. But, man, the play-in tournaments are good TV.
Yeah.
And it's just, I feel it's just good for NBA fans as well. Like, man, these lower seeds actually matter, like if they're going to get in. So what do y'all think? Do y'all like the play-in tournaments?
So,
sorry.
Just to kind of reiterate on that the Mark Cuban comment on there. So he also stated that just because for this year in particular about the play-in tournament, that since it was such a condensed schedule, and then once we get to the tournament itself, that there's going to be that you're asking was 8 teams to play in a very small span of time. So you're asking them to play some more games on top of that, what they already did. And the their injury concerns as well. His suggestion is to re-rank the teams 1 through 20 and let the last 4 teams play into the last 2 spots. So 16 through 20 play into the last 2 spots in general. Actually, in this aspect, I do actually kind of agree with Cuban in this. I've always kind of thought that they should have re-ranked everybody 1 through 20 or 1 through 16, because we always question whether the last 2 teams were actually the best teams in the league, right? But before, I think LeBron James had vetoed this because he was in the East, because he was just like, nah, man, we don't need to do that. But if you want the most purest competition between both leagues, I always think that you need to go ahead and just re-rank them, because we all know that there's a big deficit between the West and the East, and that the East is just basically limping in based on what they got going on. I mean, just look at our fantasy league, I mean, Stone and I limped in just because that's all that we had was 6. So I don't know. I kind of agree with Cuban in this aspect. I still think there needs to be a permanent aspect into this. I do like the fact that they do have a play-in tournament. It's better than the commissioner was talking about a mid-season tournament. I think it's better than the mid-season tournament that FIFA does. I think at least with this one, there's stakes at hand and there's less tanking, in my opinion. But I wouldn't be opposed to re-ranking everybody and letting the East and the West just kind of mesh, and you take the top 2 teams, have them duke it out.
Yeah.
So
No, go ahead, Willis.
No, you go. You go.
I was just gonna say. I mean, so there's been for a long time. Like I've heard people talk about wanting to change how the NBA standings are when it comes to determining playoff contention. Like I know one of the things I've heard, and I've kind of liked the idea, is you just do like what was it, like a 1 through, I can't remember if it's 1 through 20 or something. But anyway, basically you just take the best teams from the East and West, and then you rank them literally from the best team in the NBA down to like your top 10 or 12 or whatever it is, and then those are the teams that would get into the playoffs. I've always thought that was kind of neat because, you know, that in that aspect, you could probably end up with more Western Conference teams getting in or more Eastern Conference teams getting in. I've always just thought that would be kind of neat to watch, just to see how a season like that unfolds. As far as the play-in tournament, man, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I like it. I'd rather, and I'm with Nam. I'm kind of glad it's at the end of the season and not a mid-season one. That just seems silly to me. I don't know. I guess I'm just so used to how how it's been decided for so long that like a new way to do it outside of, you know, just doing a 1 through, you know, 12 or whatever. I don't know. It's weird, but I'm all for it because, you know, it allows some of those other teams to play for a chance that probably wouldn't otherwise be there. So I'm kind of 50-50 with it. I mean, if they keep it, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna hate it, but I'm also not gonna be too disgruntled with it if it, you know, they for whatever reason they decide to go a different route or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna just. I know this isn't foul or let them play, but I'm gonna let them play it out. I want to see how it is, because you know, I'm really not sure. I mean, I can see everyone's point of view on all this, and I'm not trying to be a cop out where I'm just not gonna take a side, but I really just want to see what it's gonna be like.
Okay, Dwayne.
Because nobody likes change. That's part of the issue. You know, something new comes in, people don't like it. But you know, sometimes change is a good thing, and until you try stuff, you're never gonna know if it's gonna work or not. So you know, I'm up to check it out and see how it works.
To your point, Stone, as far as like the changing the way the playoffs work, like there's a lot of weird things for that, because then it's like, well, why do you even have like West and East and all that jazz? But I kind of like, I don't know if this is how they thought of. I kind of like, okay, keep it the way it is now. The top 8 teams from the West and the top 8 teams from the East. But out of those teams, so you still have the same amount from each conference. But out of those teams, then it's like who had the better record, and then mix it up in there. I kind of like.
See,
I would like that better.
I can do that too. Like, I think that would be an interesting playoff to watch.
Yeah, because at least you still have both Western, Eastern.
You have an even amount of teams from either conference.
But when they go against each other, you're not having this. Well, the East, whoever came out of the East had it
easier,
like, better,
right?
Easier that year. So it's like you can't have that argument if you do it that way.
Like, yeah, because I mean, if you, depending on how that tournament lined up or that playoff lined up, you could have an Eastern Conference team play 3 Western Conference teams. You know what I mean? Like, there's that whole dynamic of, well, they had an easier time wouldn't fly, especially not in the playoffs, not in a situation like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my thought, like on playoffs if they change it. But as far as like the play-in tournaments, like I was saying before, as a basketball fan, like it's fun to watch because in some of these playoff series, like the last few years before the play-in, like you kind of know who's going to win the first round. And so the first round's kind of like whatever, like a team might get swept or whatnot, where at least in the play-in tournament, you still don't have those final 2 spots selected. And you know whoever's trying to get into the playoff, they're like fighting for their life. Like these are fun games to watch because it's make or break. Like everything is on the line. And I think that's what makes those games so exciting. Like in any sport, if you have one shot, like a UFC fight, if you have your one chance at a title shot, you're gonna give it your all. To where sometimes I feel like some of these playoffs, the lower seeds are like, like, I mean, and it depends who they're playing to, because some of the number one seeds are a dream team, because lately,
Yeah.
but I feel like the playing tournament games itself, like they're just exciting because they're actually playing, like they're trying to get in. So I like it. Maybe there is a different way they can go, like as far as what Nam was saying. I'm still kind of confused on that, like the 16. I'm so confused on those numbers you were saying there.
Oh no,
how that would work.
It's what you basically said. You take the top 20, or you take the 20 teams, the 10 from the East and 10 from the West, and next you let you do a mini tournament between the last 4 teams to get the last two spots for the East and the West, and then you just whatever.
So you're taking out, because right now
we got 8 teams that are going to be playing in the play-in tournament, basically.
Right. So the 7, 8, and 9, the 7, 8, 9, and 10 from each conference.
So
Okay.
yeah, basically you would just take like 9 and 10 from both conferences, let them play it out to get the last 2 spots, and then just re-rank it. Like,
so that would be extending the amount of teams that make it, then, right?
no.
See, that's where I'm confused on what you're saying.
Well, because I mean, it's 16 teams. Yeah, maybe so. You're probably right there.
Because if you're saying 9 and 10, if those are like, what are they fighting for if they're not going to get it in 7 or 8?
Because they'll get in. I think it's the last 2 spots for whatever tournament or whatever playoff tournament. Because he wants to still keep East and West, but he wants to just take the teams from the East and the West and just rewire them as far as like what are their rankings are. Like, whoever has the best actual standing is basically what you had said.
What I was saying. Okay, cool.
Yeah, except for he said, let's go ahead and take 20 teams. So I guess kind of what, instead of having, I think this was the way he was saying, so they wouldn't have as many games and as concerns for the injuries, and do the last 4 spots based on it. So maybe they were not sure. I remember reading it, but I can't pin it down right now.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, he was talking about taking the last 4 teams out of the 20 teams that were there, and then letting those last 4 play into the playoffs, basically.
Okay.
So like the winner of like whoever.
Yeah. My thing, like for Mark Cuban, I mean, this might not be even something they have to worry about if they stay in that 6th spot. So they don't have to play in. So
I'll tell you what, the Lakers would need to be worried.
Yeah, no joke. So the Lakers are at 5 right now. I mean, they're 2 games ahead of Dallas. I don't know how many games are left in the season, but we'll see.
Well, I was gonna say, John, to your thing about as long as it's staying the 6th seed, I think what Mark Cuban's trying to say is, if he does fall back to the 7th, he can't rest players because they got to keep winning to avoid falling back into that play-in.
So
okay,
so you're saying you're saying he's more comfortable, like
he's saying he's got to play his players because they got to stay.
Yeah, so they can. But if he didn't play them, they would still be in the 7th or 8th, and then whatever, you play who you play. I can see that.
Because he doesn't want to get his guys hurt anymore by playing them. And look what happened with Porzingis.
Yeah.
He's not able to rest players.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, because like I said, if these guys are going, I don't know how else to say it, balls to the wall just to get in that playing tournament, and they could possibly get injured.
Because look how close
that's crazy.
The West is so close. The 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th seed or 10th place, they're all like a game, 2 games behind. I mean, anything can happen still. And I think that's Cuban's point, is that he feels like with all these teams, not just his team, all these teams, they can't afford a rest because they're all going to try to compete for that 6th place, not to, so they can get that additional rest before the playoffs start.
Mm-hmm.
and they're in between all that too. They don't even get if they fall 7th, 8th, 9th, or they go into the play-in tournament. Well, then they're not going to get any rest. So they've gone like what you're saying. They went hard all at the end of the season trying to get out of that play-in to get the 6th seed. It's the 7th goes into the play-in, right?
Yeah, 7 and 8 plays.
7 and 8.
The next 9 and 10, the next 9 plays the winner of 7 and 8, or loser of 7.
So all those teams right there, they're playing their players right now hard, trying to get to that 6th seed, get to that 6th seed part, because they're all. I mean, the Mavericks are 33-26, the Portland's 32-28, Grizzlies 31-28, Spurs 31-29, Warriors 31-30. I mean, they're all very close to each other. So all teams are just going to be pushing their players, and that's why we've been having these injuries, especially in the season that we were in, where they are condensing everything. And so maybe this wasn't the best season to start this. I don't think Mark Cuban's against the play-in tournament. I think he's against it this year because of how condensed everything is and how they've had to, double up on some of the games on a lot of the back-to-backs.
Yeah.
No, those are good points. How would y'all? I don't know if I would like this, but how would y'all feel like in football they have a bye, like the top team has a bye, and then they have like wild card stuff like that in the NBA?
Well, I guess like the play-in tournament would be the kind of a bye for the top 6, right?
Yeah, I guess so, because I mean you would get the week off because they play the play-in tournament within the week. So
yeah,
I would say at the if I feel like if they reseeded everyone, I think I'd be okay with it if they did a bye. But at this point, I think Nick's right though. I think that first week, because they'll do 1 week for the play-in tournament, and then they'll be.
Then they'll go into the.
Yeah.
How many days off? They have 1 week, or how many days off do they have before the play-in tournament and then the actual playoffs?
Not quite sure on that one personally. Really not quite sure, because I was gonna say.
Well, the reason I'm asking is like if that's a long enough break to whoever played in the play-in tournament to get rested, and then go play the number 1 seed, like
the number 1 seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after.
If there's a good break there to where they rested, is that
here you go, Robles.
Is that okay? Or
so this says the last day of the NBA regular season scheduled for May 16th. The play-in will begin May 18th and end May 21st, with the first round of the NBA playoffs tipping off May 22nd.
Cool. So they don't even get a break.
So it's like every other day, more or less.
I feel like they should at least have. I get the other teams are sitting there waiting for this play-in tournament to happen, but I feel like the people in the tournament need a few days. Maybe
they are at a huge disadvantage to play in the tournament and then immediately be in the playoffs. While other teams got a rest. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Right, but sometimes too much rest is a terrible thing too.
That's
for
true
a team.
Too. Yeah.
And these teams are going to be coming in on going crazy. Now, yes, they could be fatigued, but there could be some teams that just get that second win, and they steal an away game. One of the first 2 games, they steal from the home team.
I mean, yeah, it's true. I mean, it's possible, but circumstances notwithstanding, like when you just look at it on paper, like you can see how a team that went through the play-in tournament and then went to the playoffs, they were playing, 100% to get to the playoffs, and now they're in the playoffs and they still have to play 100%. Teams that were able to kind of rest, obviously we can make the assumption, that they were practicing and stuff like that, keeping the routine going so they weren't getting, just too chilled out and whatnot. But it just, on paper, it looks like there's a disadvantage to being in the play-in tournament and then going to the playoffs. Because you're going in after already, kind of, busting your butt trying to get in there. No, I get what you're saying.
Like one team or two, maybe one team that comes into the actual playoffs that comes in and steals some away games at game 1 or game 2, just because the other teams are so cold. Because we're talking about, if the season ended on the 16th and then it goes to the 18th, through the 22nd. I mean, that's one full week for that one team just to be off. Now, of course, they're practicing, they're doing things, so you're hoping that they could keep themselves in a good spot, with their shooting. But if a team's ending the season with a hot streak, though, that can ruin that hot streak.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also motivation too. Like I know for a lot of people, it's better to, once you have momentum, to just keep going. Because when you have the momentum and you stop, it's kind of hard to get that momentum back. So, there's that too, where it's like they're in the tournament, they made it to the playoffs, like that momentum carries over and they just keep pushing, But I'm just saying, like, in general though, like, it just seems like there's a kind of a disadvantage to being in the tournament and then moving straight into the playoffs.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree with that.
I wonder if it was just like what Cuban says is like, I wonder if it's just this season, because I know I think they're trying to get everything in before the 2021 Olympics, which makes sense to me, because you don't want to compete with the Olympics. Of course, you're going to send players to the Olympics, so maybe it's a sense that you just want to go ahead and just they wanted to go ahead and try to get everything going. But maybe if it's a more expanded season, kind of like next year or the year after or something like that, it'll be better off for them. Actually, I don't even know if they're going to the Orlando bubble or not this year or not. I think they are, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I haven't really heard talks about it. I would imagine, but that's a good question. Good question. Man, I'm still thinking, like, there's so many, like, good things, but then there are, like, consequences, I feel like,
yeah.
I don't know. That's
where the team's got to decide, is it worth hurting your players, or maybe. I think the Spurs are kind of taking the very conservative approach to this, because they are resting players, and even though they're sitting at, I believe, are they ninth? Yeah, ninth. Even though they're sitting at ninth, they're still resting, and they're like, look, we have a team. that's who's going to really do good in this section right here in this plane, is teams that actually have a team. They're not relying on two guys to carry them through. The Warriors, Steph Curry is going to have the hard time if he loses. If he goes out, they're done. I mean,
oh yeah,
flat out, they're done. But like the Trailblazers, if Lillard gets hurt, if CJ gets hurt, or what's their big guy's name?
Nurkic.
Yeah, I mean, they at least have more of a team. But man, if they lose one of those three, it's gonna hurt them pretty bad as well. So I think teams that have an actual team where they can rely on their bench, they can come in. They're gonna do better in this time than teams that have to focus with one or two people to carry them through, because it's just gonna tire out those players.
No, I agree. Yeah. And as far as maybe not like a week, but at least like maybe 4 days or something, like enough to just get a practice in, get ready for the series.
I didn't even think about that. The practice, I mean, you're literally, I mean, I guess you would know, hey, if we win this, we're gonna go on, but you're not even worried about the next game. You're focused on winning this game. And then you have what, a day or two to prep for the game you're about to play. I mean, sure, I'm sure they got some kind of game idea of what they're going to do, but all focus is to win the game in front of you.
But still, that prep, if you're 8 seed, is pretty important if you're going against a 1 seed. Like, you need to know what the game plan is.
Yeah.
So
coach is going to be working.
Yeah.
This coach is going to be working some overtime. It's going to be interesting, though. I mean, if you guys were looking at the standings, which I think you guys are right now, it's like, do you guys think it stays the same, or do you think somebody falls into the play-in, or do you think somebody will fall out of the play-in or whatnot?
In the West, I think it's going to stay the same in the West.
Yeah. See, I wonder.
You don't think there's any chance between now and the play-in tournament that there's any change?
I know. So Zion was, and the Pelicans were doing really good, but I still don't see.
No, but I honestly do think the Lakers might fall out fall into.
You know, I was just about to say that. I was, but go ahead.
No, and the reason why is because I think Memphis is going to be a lot stronger than you anticipated because Jaren Jackson's back and he doesn't look like he has any rust from his injury.
Yeah.
But they're being cautious with him. I'm surprised that Portland's on a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah, they are 2-8 in the last 10 games. Whew.
That one I'm a little surprised on. But I mean, I don't care what anyone says. I wouldn't want to catch Golden State in the play-in tournament, like at all.
No, sir.
Like if Portland doesn't like pick it up, they're gonna fall
That's
into
gonna be a game though. Dame and Steph. Ooh.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder how many 3-point shots will be taken in that one.
That'd probably be a record of
like
most
total
threes.
threes. Yeah.
I mean, they would still, if they stay at the 7 though, Portland would still have to play Memphis first and then go from there. But
yeah, I mean, if they play Memphis, they win. If they win, I don't know. We'll see.
For the East, it's kind of hard to say because they're not. I don't feel like they're as close together like the West. I mean, well, they are. I mean, it goes all the way up. I mean, the Knicks are on a crazy win. Well, they lost tonight, but the Knicks are on a good streak here. The Hawks could drop.
Oh, I mean, without
especially with Trae Young.
with Trae Young gone, that's gonna hurt.
Celtics are just so inconsistent. I'm sorry, Shadow, but they are. You just don't know what they're gonna do. The Heat, I think, are gonna. They could steal 6. They could even get up to 5th if they really pushed it.
Yeah, it really. I mean, it. I think.
Celtics are falling out.
Yeah, sure. I think. Well, especially Atlanta. Like when you look at the standings in the East, and you look at the 2 teams that are behind Atlanta, it's not. Honestly, it's depending on how Boston plays, and if they push it, and same with Miami, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to see both those teams just move up, because Atlanta's going to struggle.
The Hornets are getting ball back in here. I mean, the Hornets could even surprise people and get up into the 6. I mean, to me, the East is definitely got some. It's not set. Like not that the West is set, but the West, you can argue your point,
right?
But the East, you can't. It can really go any way from the 5th. Even the Knicks. I mean, if one person gets hurt, they can fall. So it's really for the taking here in the East.
I'm curious. Do you guys see the Nets staying at number 1? Or do you think maybe the Sixers kind of move up and
the Sixers were on a bad losing streak and they're coming? I think they're going to start getting their groove back. I mean, Embiid's been back for a few games, but he's
Simmons has been out too.
So. Yeah, so I think the Sixers could take number 1.
Yeah, I think so too. As far as my question here is with Washington at 10, and Toronto and Chicago behind him. Toronto's a game back from Washington.
I think Washington's going to stay.
Do you think they're going to stay?
Because I made the comment the last week or the other week that I think Washington was going to go on a run, and they went on a run. I honestly think Washington's going to stay. I'd be kind of curious to see if the Pacers stay as well. But the Bulls didn't have Levine for a little bit because I think Zach Levine sat out for a bit, and I think Toronto. Is he still out? Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna be out. He at least till Wednesday because he didn't go with them on the road trip.
And Toronto has just been so inconsistent.
They are inconsistent,
for real.
Like I feel like it's Fred VanVleet. Like if he does well, they do well. But if he doesn't do well, they seem to just kind of fall out of wayside.
And that's where my thing is. Like Siakam, where you at, man? All-star. Exactly. You got to step up, dude.
He needs to. Yeah, it's definitely been an off year for him. And it doesn't hurt. It hurts that they also play in Tampa Bay right now. So I mean, I get that they don't get to play at their home court. Their home building with like 5,000 fans or whatnot. But I think to the credit of what Nick says though, I think watching the East to get to finalize their play-in tournament is going to be fantastic
Yeah, it's gonna be good basketball to watch.
The actual West play-in tournament is going to be where it's at too. Like the actual tournament, not necessarily getting to it.
Because these games aren't even just gonna be good just like when they're playing each other. They're like the Wizards and the Spurs game tonight was awesome to watch. And I'm not, even if the Spurs had lost, it would have still been a fun game to have seen because they were both playing hard. I mean, they're both trying to get into that, move up in the ranks.
Yeah.
So they're both going crazy. And I mean, you could see it. Both teams were doing their best to win this. And so that's where I like this playing tournament because as a fan, you're getting to see players actually try in the regular season, and even with there's gonna be some rest or whatever, but you can actually see them like pushing it. I mean, DeRozan he was going off tonight, and that's fun to watch as a fan. Now, does that hurt the player? Probably. Does it hurt the team? Probably. But for a fan side, it is fun basketball, but I do feel for the players that it is tough on them, and there's gonna be injuries because of it.
And I was gonna say too, like I feel like towards the end of the season, teams are trying to get into the playoffs, even with the old format. Like if they're sitting at 9 or 7, 8, 9, or 10, like they're already like, oh, we can't lose these games. But the fact that we call it a play-in tournament, I don't know, brings in a new meaning, or it gets maybe like not your hardcore fans, but your
purists,
just like mediocre fans, or they're kind of just waiting for the playoffs to come. That kind of grabs their attention. Where, like you just said, these teams are playing hard right now, but to a casual fan, they're not watching this right now.
Yeah.
To where calling something like a play-in tournament, they're like, "Ooh, yeah, we'll watch this." So it's just like,
oh yeah, because it turns into more like a March Madness kind of situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the NBA is wanting to get in, because everyone goes crazy for it. There's tons of money to be made with that, and I think the NBA is trying to bring that in. But I see Cuban's point to it all. I do.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying we just have to see what happens, because they're not changing it. I mean, there's nothing they can do to change it right now. And so let's see how it is. It's interesting. Let's see if it's if
I mean,
it
the games
works,
are gonna
it
be fun
works.
to watch, but I'm just like, back to your like injury or resting, like, yeah, that's where we're gonna have to wait and see.
So who do y'all think are going to be the two teams that make it out of the East and the West?
Well, the West Spurs are definitely going to make it.
I mean, as far as like the actual playoffs, I'm sorry, but yeah, you can say the Spurs. Okay.
Homer.
If it's staying where it's at now,
definitely.
Yeah, let's just say if it stays where it's at.
If it's staying like it is there, and if I'm gonna have to go Portland, and I'm gonna have to stick with my Spurs to get that 7 and 8.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. John on the West.
Stone, Nom, West.
So 7 and 8 would have to play, so it would be Portland and Memphis. So I would say
Portland would be mine.
You know what? I'm gonna say Memphis.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Memphis.
He had to go against Stone.
it
was get me not to agree with him. No,
it's not necessarily that, but I just think Ja Morant has
not necessarily.
I think Ja is gonna show that he's a superstar.
Oh, well, that's the stage to do it.
Yeah, and between Golden State and Portland, I think it's Steph's year. I'm gonna say Golden State, so I'm gonna go with Memphis and Golden State.
Memphis and Golden State.
See, I was thinking Portland, Golden State.
That's fair.
And a shooting in a straight shootout.
Spurs haters.
In a straight shootout, I mean, you'd almost have to give it to Steph Curry. But I think with go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I depending on how well Portland could contain Steph, he's gonna get his points. But if you can limit how many threes he makes, you increase your chance to win like tenfold. So I might lean more towards Portland. And in that game. But I think I'm with you guys in a sense that would be that would be a fantastic game to watch. That would be an insanely entertaining game.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I to go with the team concept, right? So when did Golden State not, or when did they become not a team? I guess that would be because they were known for they're known for their system play.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that Steph is just that good, and then of course Clay being hurt, it hurts their players as far as the quote unquote system. But I mean, they've had that's why.
I just think they have inconsistency outside of Steph Curry. And then what's
Draymond Green? Draymond Green does all the grit stuff. So I mean,
yeah, but he can't hit a shot now.
Right? No, I was just about to say, yeah, he's grit, but
like he does all the other stuff, but he cannot hit a shot. And if Steph is double teamed or whatnot,
you still got Wiggins, you still got Oubre Jr., you still got
again inconsistent players though.
Inconsistencies.
But I'm just saying, they're still
the names are there, but
I'm saying
he has games where he goes off, but then there's games where he just like back quiet.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're still a system team. It's not like they're not a system team. I'm not putting anything away from the Spurs. I think they're where they're at because they got there with the group that they got and the coaching that they got. I just find it funny that that in some senses we talk about Steph Curry in that sense, but the Warriors in its core is a system team too as well. So they passed the ball a lot. That's the reason why KD went to that.
The reason why their system got messed up because the system was Steph and Clay. I mean,
no, they were
that was their system.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but come on.
It was
Steph
more
and Clay
than
was the
more
system,
than them.
and everyone else worked around that. Then you took Clay out, and then their whole season's been up and down because Steph is having to carry the load, even because he doesn't have players that can really cement themselves in a role with consistency. Now, are there Spurs players that go up and down? Yes, but every Spurs player has an actual role, and they know what that role is. Rudy Gay, he knows that he's coming off the bench, and he's not there to score the points. Every player, hey, you're in this spot, this position. I feel like that's what the Warriors are still trying to put together with their new players, with Wiggins, Oubre Jr., and Steph Curry's having to direct that because once Clay was out, again, the whole team revolved around them two. Took Clay out. It's been a whole season of them trying to piece it. Are they doing good? Yes, they are.
Well, now,
but I was
their
saying
system changed even now because earlier in the season they were trying to get the ball to Wiseman, help him grow.
Exactly. I was just about to.
They were trying to develop him, but I mean, Draymond Green's not a scorer. He's a defensive player. Like that would be the same thing as saying is like he knows his role. He's a facilitator. He's a defender.
That's one player though.
But here's the thing,
because he's been there since the beginning. I was talking about Wiggins, Oubre Jr.
Yeah, but you need one of those guys to catch anything. You only need one of those guys to be doing well, because if the other one doesn't do well, then so be it. If you have both of them not doing well, then there's an issue. I get that, but I still think they have a system in place that puts them in, that obviously put them in this spot because they wouldn't be here with just Steph Curry like leading all the way through. They had to have.
Okay, if Steph Curry was out, what would their record be?
Well, I don't even know if that's.
No, because if it's a system team, where would Steph Curry be?
Well,
where would they be at without Steph Curry?
Right, but just because you like any team's going to struggle without their star players. You can have a good system. If
DeRozan was out, would the Spurs have the winning record right now?
We just lost Aldridge, and we still have a better record because
you didn't have Aldridge for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and
you didn't have Aldridge for like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm just saying, if you didn't have DeRozan, then you wouldn't have a team either.
Aldridge has been out, yes, but we've been a better team. We've been still performing at the high level. We were performing with him.
Okay, but
because every player knows their role.
Right, but okay, so what happens to San Antonio if DeRozan isn't there?
He rested the other night, and they're still on a 7-3 winning. Last 10 games, they're 7-3.
One night.
That's one. Right, that's one game.
Won.
Okay,
but that's all we have to go off of.
Okay, but you're asking what happens to Golden State if Steph isn't there at the entire season.
If Steph was to be out a game, would they win the game?
They have. They have won games without Steph. That's the reason why they had all year last year they were building their players. What I'm saying,
we're not talking about last year. This year, right now. If you had told me that Steph had to rest one of these next games,
they would win. Yes, I would say yes. Because
you're confident in that.
Because
I
Steph,
know that's what I'm saying. I just disagree. We just disagree with that.
Did Steph not get hurt when he went for that dive and he had that butt injury or whatever? He was out for like 2 or 3 games. They won. Draymond Green facilitated. They won with Kelly Oubre Jr. and Wiggins because Wiggins stepped up. I'm just saying, I'm not saying the only argument. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm just saying that let's not forget that the Golden State is also a system team, and it's not. And yes, they have 2 dynamic players, but they were a system team before anything else.
Look, this is what I'll say about the Warriors. If the Spurs and Warriors do play, is I'm more worried about the Warriors in a one-off game, but in a actual playoff round, I wouldn't be nervous.
Yeah, in a 7-game series, like the best team is always going to win 7-game series. That's why the Lakers are always. That's why we're always concerned about the Lakers because you got LeBron James for 7 games.
I will say, and then I will say this: if the Spurs and Warriors did play that one game, Curry was out, I think we definitely got that one.
Right, but
okay, you take DeRozan out and you take Curry out, Spurs still got it.
I think Golden State's got that one. It would be a close game though, and I would only say it would be a 5-point game. But I think at that point, then you question who has the most talent between the 2.
Yeah, because I mean, honestly, clearly both teams have a system that they've been running since the start of the season. Yeah. With or without the star players, that's a system that they've been pushing. I think that for Golden State though, with the absence of Clay, the system, whatever it is, revolves around Steph. Without him, the system may change in order to replace the fact that Steph isn't there, but they still have a system there without him. And so I get that, but the one thing that I was thinking about is how different does Golden State look if Clay had been here the whole season?
Oh, they definitely in the.
Are we?
It's a totally different team.
Yeah.
Right. Are they top 8? Are they top 5?
Because then,
and I'll say this:
the hypotheticals, though, you can go anywhere with that hypothetical.
Yeah.
Right.
Then, what's the name? Wiseman probably wouldn't have gotten hurt because they wouldn't have been riding him maybe as hard. But
trying to develop him as bad as
yeah. And so there's.
No, I only bring it up because and Nick, you said it. A lot of Golden State's play and strategy contends on Steph and Clay. Those 2 have the green light for that team to shoot whenever. It's just put the ball in the air.
Well deserved.
And absolutely. And I think with Clay gone and the fact that defenses don't have to double 2 guys, forget Kevin Durant, don't have to try and double 2 guys every time they're on the perimeter. It hurts Golden State because for the longest time, Golden State could play off that. I'm getting 2 guys on me. Clay's getting 2 guys on him. At the very least, that's 2 guys on. That's 2 guys for one team being doubled, and I think that helped a lot. And now with Clay being gone, and it's Steph. Whether there's a system there that's working or not, Steph has obviously been the workhorse. What I mean?
I feel so. I have a question because I feel like all this is centered around offense when you're talking system.
Yeah.
What about defense?
Well, and that's what Golden State's been working on. But this is what I was actually going to say. Out of the 4 teams that are in the play-in tournament, I think San Antonio would be the team. If they played Portland, I think San Antonio would win. Because I really don't think Portland's got a team per se that is very rooted in what they're supposed to do. I feel like if you look at those teams, it's literally Portland Trailblazers is like the Dame Lillard team. They go with him and they don't go with him. That's the only team that I think that doesn't have a deeply rooted system defensively and offensively. I think the Warriors are the reason why they're in the spot that they are is not only because of Steph Curry's offense, but because they've been revolving around their team as a more defensive oriented team, and they've been talking about that all year. It's the reason why Draymond is the way he is. That's why he was coaching up the defensive side of the. He's like their defensive anchor on the court, and of course, I think we know the Spurs are the Spurs. I just question whether or not if like the Spurs can make it out of that 8 or that 9 spot and make it into the 7-8 where they have to play against like Portland or Memphis, like I would give the Spurs a punching chance to make it past because I honestly think Portland, as much as we love Dame, I question whether they have it because they just every year it doesn't seem that they know what kind of identity they have other than Dame Lillard, you know?
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and close it out there. That was a fun discussion for sure.
All
what we live for here.
Everybody love everybody.
I know everybody loves everybody, but I'm going to tell you now, Boston's not going to make it to the playoffs.
Oh man.
Well, Shadow doesn't, you know?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Shadow, but I'm going to tell you now. They make it. They fall. They're going to play Miami. Miami's going to win, and then it's either the Hornets or the Wizards. Look,
I'm telling you, Boston, their time is now. Because I can see that team breaking up. Like,
I'll be honest with you, I kind of thought Boston's time was like probably 3 years ago or however long it. Like, I felt confident in that team. Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward. I felt confident.
Kyrie. I mean, no.
Yeah, I never did with Kyrie, but with Kemba, I thought they were gonna have a pretty good year.
Yeah.
What was that play? Okay, sorry. I saw the Kevin Love thing earlier too. That was weird.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He made what's going on there. He was so mad.
Is that
he's
as
not
bad as
even
J.R.
thinking.
Smith's?
That's pretty
Is
bad.
anything as bad as J.R. Smith's?
Go
That's
watch
pretty
that
bad.
clip.
But we're gonna go ahead and close out our show there. Everyone who stopped on in, thanks so much. Justine, Hunter, thanks for stopping on in as we talk some basketball. Again, we're live here on Twitch and also on YouTube as well. There's all the links to all our social media on Twitch. And if you're on YouTube, all the links will be in the description as well. You can just click Twitter, Twitch, wherever you can find us. So yeah, thanks again for listening to another episode of the Courtside Central live show. And we'll catch you next week. Peace out.
See ya.